Sports cards, investments, not investments? It's the age-old question that we all like to argue about all the time. And I saw 3 different content creators talking about this particular subject over the last week. Jeremy Lee over at Sports Cards Live.
Is it a hobby? Is it a business? Are they investments? That is up to each person individually. I see people saying cards are not investments. So I looked up the definition of investment. I can clearly tell you cards can be investments. You might not look at them as investments for yourself, but cards can be an investment.
Raul at AIH Sports, as well as P. Ryan, Patrick Ryan. I believe it's P. Ryan Collection on IG. He does live streams on IG. I don't think he does any YouTube, but that's really the only place I see him doing live streams is over there. Before we get started, big shout out to today's video sponsor, COMC.com, your home for buying, selling, and flipping all the hottest trading cards. Their consignment marketplace now home to over 30 million cards from baseball superstars like Aaron Judge to Marvel favorites like Spider-Man. COMC has something for every type of collector. Make sure to visit COMC.com today to build out your collection with your favorite cards. Guys, check out COMC if you haven't already. It's a good time. All right, we'll start with Jeremy over at Sports Cards Live. He's of the opinion that they can be investments. And actually, I've heard him talk about this on his channel on various live streams for years. So I think that everyone's got kind of a different take on it, but Jeremy says that they can be. He doesn't say that all cards are. He did a YouTube short recently, but he says that they can be investments. Raul over at AIH Sports has issues with the volume and the difficulty to move out of collectible sports cards included. And I actually understand what he's talking about here. Technically, you can liquidate cards and collectibles. You can put them on auction at 99 cents and you can sell them, but it's usually not very effective. You usually will probably lose on that front unless you have a collectible that is highly wanted at the time. Timing is obviously everything, but most people don't run all of their stuff at a 99-cent auction and sell it that way. And there are certain things, even if you run them at 99 cents, they might not sell. Whereas if we're comparing to traditional investments, stocks and different things are brought up, you can very easily move in and out of those sorts of things. You can move in and out of a stock. Real estate's kind of an interesting one. It's a traditional investment. Technically, you can't move in and out of real estate very easily. Again, you can throw up your house, I suppose, for a very low amount and sell it at that. So it's somewhat liquid, but I guess that sports cards and collectibles would be similar in that sense that you could sell it. It just might be at a huge discount. So technically, the liquidity problem isn't necessarily just with alternative assets, alternative investments, so to speak, for cards, collectibles. It can also happen that way with traditional investments, depending on what we're talking about. And then I like Patrick Ryan, P. Ryan jumps on and he goes on kind of a little bit of a rant. And he's basically saying, look, if we're calling anything that we buy that we hope goes up in value over time an investment, then my couch could be an investment. I could say, oh, I bought this couch for $1,000 and over time, I hope that it's worth $1,200. So I invested in a couch. Now, as far as Patrick Ryan goes, from what I took from his live stream, his issue lies more in expectations for young people. If you're a middle-aged person, older, the younger folks, a lot of them know everything, right? They know everything. I've got teenagers, so I get it. But they also do look up to and try to learn from folks that have been around a little bit longer. And his messaging is like, hey, look, if we're pushing the message down that you can easily make a living in cards and collectibles, that's the wrong messaging. This is kind of what I took from what he was saying. And I do agree with it. I think it's actually very difficult in a normal market to make money if that is the way that you live. That's what you're paying your bills with. You've got to be highly, highly dedicated to it. And it does take some luck. It does take some skill, but it's certainly not easy. It was easy going back a couple of years where it was just everything was going bonkers and it was easier money, way easier money. It'll never be that easy again. I've said that on the channel before. It'll never be as easy to flip cards as it was in 2020, 2021. Just won't be. Or it'll take a very long time. And so I think that's kind of what Patrick Ryan was getting at is that we don't necessarily want to push the message down of like, hey, you can buy into cards really at any price level and it's easy, because it's certainly not. It's a grind. It's a big time grind. And really, if you look at the people that are making money at it, they're buying collections. They might buy, a 1,000 cards, 5,000 cards, 10,000 cards, taking up their entire garage or their entire warehouse, and they're selling it off in pieces, which takes a lot of time, a lot of energy. They're selling fees, everything that's going into that. Think about all the elements of that. But the reason why they're able to buy collections at a pretty big discount is because the folks don't want to deal with that. The people, if they've got high-end stuff, then they'll sell that themselves. But if you've got a lot of common sets and things and stuff that you just don't care about anymore, you're happy to sell that off to a dealer who will then take the time. It might take a year for that dealer to move through all of that product. And yes, maybe that dealer makes a profit, sometimes a sizable profit.
Yes, exactly. But
he or she just spent 6 months, a year liquidating all of that stuff. And there's no guarantee that they're able to liquidate it at all or quickly. So they might just be stockpiling things. They might have literally warehouses full of cards that they're trying to move. That's why they get it at a huge discount. So that's the reality of cards and collectibles. Now, on the other side of that coin, you could be operating in the high-end space where, look, you're tailoring your business towards high-end buyers. So yes, you might be buying huge cards, but you already have in mind a buyer for that card because you work with a specific clientele that caters to that business. So you might not be the dealer that's buying all the stuff, the 100,000 cards and selling it off in pieces. Maybe you are putting money into large items, but you're moving in and out of them fairly quickly just because there's a lot of risk attached to buying a very expensive piece of cardboard. So everyone's got their different business model. But for me as a whole, if we're just talking about sports cards as investments, it depends on really how you're using the terminology. I mean, you could make the excuse that a lot of us, if we're buying, selling cards, if we're making content or consuming content, I mean, this is a huge part of our lives. So we're investing money, but we're investing time. We're investing our souls into the card hobby. Because it's so fun. I mean, that's the reason why we're doing it. It is a hobby that also carries significant value to us outside of just monetarily. So if you're talking about investing time, if you're talking about investing things that are outside of just dollars and cents, there's a lot more to it than that. So I do understand kind of all sides of this argument. I think it's a fun debate. And I don't think when people are saying sports cards are investments that they're saying, hey, these are dividend producing assets, or cards are going to pay you rent to live in your house like a real estate investment would. I mean, obviously, that's not what people are talking about. I don't think anyway. And who knows? Maybe there'll be a business that comes out where the cards are paying you rent to live in your closet or whatever. We will be back again soon with another card collectibles video. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.